Check ball.
Yeah. Check up. Right here.
You that pick, you can get some additional information first.
You can start us off because this has been a journey.
Yeah, brought in, and then immediately. immediately they had champion pool issues. So we will see here in game number 1. If GAM have done their research, they will ban Ziggs. Okay, good. They banned Ziggs. They have done their research. Following that, Cassiopeia is another really big APA champion. They're going to go for the Lee Sin instead, as Pyosik popped off and became God in their game versus T1, so they don't want to repeat there. But we'll see, because Syndra and Orianna, APA was already trash talking in the all chat in pregame.
Yeah, absolutely. This guy definitely is a talker. But, you know, Cassio is one of those picks. Nico's another one of the picks. I don't think we've seen him bring out yet at Worlds, but it's definitely one of his comfort picks. He plays a lot of oddball stuff, even things that we haven't seen him bring out on stage that I'm not expecting. But, you know, when you look at this guy playing solo queue, he's playing Pantheon, he's playing Kled, he's playing Cassio, he's playing Ziggs, he's playing all kinds of stuff. That's not really the meta. And it is going to be another ban here towards Pyosik, who did have an incredible game against T1, and a lot of players I've been talking to really do have concerns about playing against Pyosik because they do know that he can get to those incredibly high levels.
And those have been by far his 2 favorite, most recent champions. He was spamming Viego. Of course, he had the T1 pop-off game, so a lot of respect there paid from GAM to the world champion. On the other side, Team Liquid up until now, they were red side both times. They didn't have an option to get APA or Orianna. This is one of the premier picks in the meta right now, but also I know this is his most spammed in solo queue as well. So hopefully for Team Liquid, for him, they'll feel very confident on it. Orianna is obviously a mid laner that scales very well by enabling a lot of your teammates, and it also sets up carry top laners. Top laners is definitely something we want to talk on with these 2 teams, because Kiaya is GAM's superstar, and they've locked in Rumble.
And we've been seeing a lot of Ignite Rumble. This is a really frightening pick, but at the same time, when I think of picks that can sometimes handle it, I think of Gnar. And when I think of Gnar, I think of Summit, right? So I do think that's one of the guys from our league that maybe has the best shot of being able to have a strong answer to this pick.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the lanes once we get into the game that I'm going to focus on very heavily, because both Summit and Kiaya have monster lane phases, monster stats, best in the league. The other one I would propose in addition to that top lane pick for Summit of the Gnar is the Aatrox. You can go the common Aatrox version is a decent way of trying to deal with it, but GAM have actually loaded up on a lot of AP here, also grabbing away the Maokai.
And I will say, in addition to that, we've seen Summit on the Cassante that's actually just popped up in front of our faces too. If there's a neutralizing option, if there's something that I think in this tournament, like many others and in regular seasons, this pick has just been so good for so long, locked in for TL as they get 2 power picks.
And it is interesting, right? Because it's I think, weaker in lane than some of the other options that we were talking about, and Summit is such a strong laner, but I think that TL are coming into this, and they should feel confident about their ability to outplay in 5v5. They've got some really talented players, and I think that they're going to be feeling like they want to play standard in these early games. We'll see if they do continue towards this. Jarvan would be a really strong pick here. Good early game jungler, good options for Pyosik, also combined so well with the Orianna. Delivering that ball for the Shockwave is going to be dangerous, and it's going to mean that GAM is going to need to have safety on their carries. And Tristana, I think, is such a smart answer. We've been seeing this a lot more from the Eastern teams. I think it's super underrated by the Western teams because it does give you a lot of that safety. You have the Buster Shot, you have the Rocket Jump.
Plus, they have already got so much AP, like we're talking about with the first 2 picks. You really do want an AD mid here, some threat, and Jace is banned. So Tristana really popping up in priority there. I'm assuming that is mid lane. Obviously, they could switch it and play a kill lane bottom for Slater and Pallet if they want.
Yeah, I mean, we've been seeing LPL and LCK teams now, you know, they are playing more of that Tristana bot, right? You know, regionally in NA, not a lot of teams actually did that. You know, the only team in our league that I can really think of doing it a lot was Golden Guardians with Stixxay. So, you know, TL obviously will have some experience playing against it mid, because everyone plays it mid, but bot, not a lot of teams have really been doing it, even though I do think it's a good pick.
And I think so far in this draft, what we're seeing is the play styles, right? Especially with GAM, they are a quick early pace team. We know that from the BCS, we know that from GAM. This is a comp that wants to start running and snowballing over as we're starting to get rid of some of the solutions that could maybe go into that bottom lane or that hover pick that we're seeing with the ban of Kalista.
Yeah, I think they want to let Slater and Pallet have a good early lane phase by protection ban a few of these lane bullies against them so that Levi can go up top to Kiaya. I think that's when this team looks the best. Kiaya will smash that lane phase. He's on the Rumble. They need to get that Rumble snowballing and bring him down to some objective fights. Whittling down on those AD carries, though, expected to continue.
I feel like so far, again, Elsa actually taken away, that we're getting towards those B tiers, right? I mean, Kai'Sa taken. Not often do you see in the ban phase, usually going to be the Traderoo. On the other side, Xayah as well. I mean, we are starting to go down that list. Gentlemen, run me through what's kind of left here on for GAM to respond with what you're expecting, maybe another AD, maybe another support ban themselves.
Yeah, honestly, the Ezreal, I know everybody has really been shying away from it because a lot of European AD carries
I do not like that pick.
have had a terrible time with it, but that is one of those ones if you're looking at a kill lane, and we're expecting melee supports to come in here. Rakan is still available, so they can go for a Rakan, for Nautilus, something like that, to have that pressure on bottom side. I think they need one more piece of initiation here for Gam and try and go for, but if they go with the Zeri, then you can go Renata, you can go Lulu. You can have one of those more supportive, and then you're fully relying on Maokai though as your setup, and you really want to be able to keep someone in place on a Rumble Ultimate. So I think they need a little bit more structure.
I will say though, if we lock Neela here, I think Renata is so good because that's so much dive, for TL, that being able to have the Renata and being able to have enchanters with double AD carry teams, I always think is really, really strong. Be able to go towards some really efficient itemization like the Ardent Sensor. It is instead, of course, going to be the Aphelios, so TL drafting standard, drafting 5v5. I'm expecting an engaged support here from Core.
Yeah, there's a lot of options still available for him.
Probably.
Okay.
Just based on his comfort and what's banned out, that would be my expectation. Thresh is also another comfort pick, though, too.
Yeah, you would like point and click for Zeri generally, usually, but
that's why I thought Nautilus, to be honest. I mean, Core, like this is the pick that he was most known for, but really hasn't been playing it as much over the last couple of years. But when people talked about him when he was first coming into NA as a support, he's winning on TL.
Pick, yeah.
This was his pick.
It also makes it really, really reliable for Yan, because if Yan only has to worry about Rumble Ultimate and Maokai Ultimate here as you engage, okay, there's the Rakan. Then the Thresh Lantern really provides so much extra safety from Aphelios. That's why it's one of the oldest pairings with this champion. But Palette getting that Rakan
Again,
obviously
more crazy to do. I mean, to grab the exclusive experimentation emote, that's all you need to know. Go and get it.
Yeah, the only other really annoying thing for a Cassante versus a Rumble, especially a Cassante versus a Rumble and Maokai, is that it really dissuades you from rushing to your Iceborne Gauntlet because you need some early magic resistance because it's so AP heavy for the top side of the lane. So that's one of the reasons why you're not like as scared of those red side Cassante picks into these matchups.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, I think it's such an easy Merchant's Rush for Summit when you're playing against Rumble, Maokai topside, right? Like, I think he's still going to be able to get some really effective MR in early, and then we'll see where he wants to go with his Mythic. But if you are an NA fan and you're looking for a little bit of hope, a little bit of cope, the all-time head-to-head between the VCS and the LCS is 10-1 in favor of LCS.
Really?
So it's very heavily in favor. VCS has actually historically done a lot better against LEC, which is interesting because we've had our fair share of losses against the smaller leagues, but just often it is not against the VCS. VCS, though, was 6-13 against LEC, so obviously still very heavily favored towards the LEC, but that's more where their upsets have come.
And I think looking more specifically at GAM as well, I mean, everyone sees this as the representative from the VCS, with Palette with a quick trade in the bot side just to kick things off on his Rakan that we've seen so many times already. Is a tangent to tell you that they're 2-4, 1-5, 1-5 in individual years when they've been there in 2017, 2019, and 2022 respectively. There might be the representative, but again, using your NA record, when they go head-to-head with some of these major regions, they tend to struggle. And now 0-2, where they can't drop this best of 3, they can't drop any best of 3. I think it's important to note that they need to start strong.
Yeah, so much pressure. These are the highest pressure games that we have had at Worlds so far because these are elimination ones. These are the first elimination games. And we do see opposite side jungle paths here, so Team Liquid, as we're watching these bottom side trades, also know that Jarvan is coming down. GAM have a ward on the Raptors, so they have perfect timing on Pioshik right now.
And I really want to see, can TL actually get Yon going in a meaningful way? Because it hasn't felt like he's really had a great time. Even in that T1 game, got behind early, wasn't very relevant, wasn't honestly a huge part of their win. It didn't feel like against Energy either. But he had been such a carry threat for the team in NA, really improved from spring to summer. So I want to see if they can actually get him rolling, build some confidence for Yon, because if they are to win this series, they are going to have to rely on this AD carry.
Because I think the funny thing is Slater and Palette started off slow as well, right? The difference was that they were in play-ins and Slater really struggled to get off the ground.
I want to point out something that just happened here. We had a recall from Slater because they did see Jarvan over here through his jungle, so they had perfect timing. They know he's ending down there. He's coming for the gank. So he goes for the early recall, picks up boots in base to walk right back down to lane for Slater here, and will be full HP and have the extra potion still available. So shouldn't be any early action thus far, just an easy trade of those Scuttle Crabs.
Hang on. You said no early action. This is GAM, though, Kobe. I mean, you're casting the VCS.
You can argue with me, but you can't argue with the map, my
All
friend.
those circles, man. Those are big circles.
It's going to be interesting to see, when that first fight breaks out, if either team is going to be playing heavily, prioritizing that dragon or anything like that. I mean, if I'm TL and I'm playing this comp, I don't feel like I need to really do anything. Like, I think you're going to be happy to sit back, farm it up, try to play to scale here.
Yeah, I think first area to go for is a Maokai flash W angle onto mid lane. If you can flash W onto the Orianna, you're going to, at the worst, trade flashes here with an exceptionally aggressive AD carry mid like Tristana. So that could be one area, and especially since we've had this big target on APA's back.
Yeah.
With Palafox really opening up in the last game.
I mean, it was rough, wasn't it? A Razork on that mid lane. What did he go in the end? Like 0-7, 0-8? APA really struggled, and it was rough to watch for NA fans.
It is, but at the same time, we have to remember, this guy hasn't even spent a full split with his team, right? This is a rookie coming into the LCS, didn't even have a full split with TL. It's his first time at International. And his first game was actually really good against Faker. He went totally even in lane. He was playing the map well, TPing topside to cover dives. We'll see.
Good sidestep from Pallet, not giving the hook out. That was smart against Core. JJ tries to predict, but Core flashes up. There's a summoner down. Goes from Yon to get in lane as well, and Gam strike hard.
Meanwhile, mid lane is going to have those jungle meetups. We saw this deep control ward from Gam did actually spot Pioshik as he goes to answer, as well as the regular ward here in the brush. But yeah, I completely agree. I mean, APA definitely looked good in their first game versus T1, and him and Palafox honestly have a bit of a special relationship. Palafox in North America was basically APA dad, so.
That's nothing nicer than seeing a father and son on the
Yeah,
international
father-son
stage.
bonding on the international stage.
It's a beautiful thing, really.
Shockwave, speak of the devil. Maybe he heard you guys talking. There's a buster shot out as Pioshik doesn't have the Cataclysm, but tried to finish the kill.
Critical buster shot there. Otherwise, APA could have gone for a flash follow and gotten that finish. He did actually solo kill on the Orianna, got solo killed, by the Orianna against Palafox. And we can see up in the top lane, it's actually the early Negatron picked up. So he might just sit on this. It could be an early Abyssal Rush or something like that, but I'm more likely thinking he's just going to sit on this and then build towards Mythic from here.
But let's look towards mid. APA, great lantern out. Core JJ, right where you need him, playing clutch so far.
Yeah, visiting the lanes, keeping them safe over here. APA still with the flash. Let's see if he actually, complete the recall, no problem. Is going to leave Pioshik out to dry a little bit in this river, though, as the mid push will be in favor.
Great. It's the all-out. It's the equalizer down in response. Kiaya flashes, but is matched by Summit. He's getting the final touch, but saving grace comes through as Levi might turn this situation around, but still the 2v2 continues as Summit's bar is running through. Pioshik's out of there just before the Brambles
Oh,
smash.
man. I thought Kati was going to come. I thought Kati was going to come up with a Trist, and they were going to be in trouble. But because it's an even 2-on-2, they walk away. Gam will walk away with the Scuttle Crab and a turret plate in mid. So they get the guaranteed money of one turret plate for Kati. But I really thought that Tristana was coming up river. I could see it.
Yeah, we were both looking at it. I think that was so greedy from Kati to go for the plate instead of moving to the play. TL were hard engaging on that. If he moves up, it could have been so much more, but the hook!
The hook's great, you're right. Slater flashes away over the wall. He escapes. His pallet is narrowly doing the same thing. There's another summoner down. Slater now with none.
All right, see what they can do. No AD carry flash here for Slater and constantly getting pushed in. Maybe we have a top side to bottom side clear for Pioshik in the works, and they start to think about some of this dragon control.
But I think so far we can start complimenting the TL bottom lane so far, how they've reacted to the plays. Of course, summoner earlier, Shockwave is there onto Kati. He'll jump away once again, and APA continues to threaten out with this pick.
Yeah, I really love how APA is actually playing this out. Just using the Shockwave on cooldown really aggressively. There's no sustain on Kati besides just this D-Blade, so he is getting chunked out and being bullied out here by APA, really showing his class in this one.
Yeah, just look at the mini-map right now. I mean, this is a huge difference with mid lane and bottom lane hard pushing. It is open season on that river
Look at
on
the
bottom
guns.
side.
Oh my god, this is horrible because red and white means everything is all right. Yon gets one. Let's add another. This is the classic Aphelios movement where two plays have just been given for free.
No living being should ever eat processed food for every single meal of their life.
All right, Pioshik gonna move in, look to utilize those pushing lanes we were just setting up. Pallet is here, but honestly, he could just be a bystander since Pioshik does have smite.
You'd just be annoying, at the very least. Just
He gives him a little love tap there with the
now
lance
Kati's
as well.
coming.
Or might change it
He's
as well.
dead.
The knockup's there. You're right. The flash. Oh, no way! When the pressure sits hard, you make mistakes.
That would have been a kill. That would have been a kill for sure. There were
Easily.
only a couple.
Oh no, and it's going to bite back in his favor as well. Kati getting engaged on the ignites down. He doesn't have a flash to hit. With the lantern back in, Gravitum slows him down. He knows that he's dead. Yon gets first blood, and Kati may have single-handedly lost this early game.
What a demoralizing sequence of events
Yeah.
for Gam here. Kati faceplant into the wall and then is also punished in getting killed. Beautiful, beautiful stuff there. You have to say in tandem for Yon and Core JJ though. Love that play. Yon gets knocked back with the Buster shot, but boom, Lantern is there, Purple Gun Root is there, and he's able to finish off the kill.
This was just troll from Pioshik though. He was staying so long. And that was so greedy. If Kashi doesn't fail the flash, he kills him and he gets out for free because he gets the reset. He'd be too far from Core, but instead, Purple Gun, Root, into the guaranteed play. I guess Core didn't have hook because he never used it. He just autos him to death.
And Yon just stays just on the outside of that W knockup range from Pallet. No problem for him.
That one hurts,
Easily
man.
spaced with the green gun. It certainly does hurt, that one. You're going to have to recover, though, because as we said, these are elimination games, so you can't let a mistake like that on the world stage completely tilt your whole game. The goal difference is not that big. It's just one kill. It's just one first blood here acquired by Team Liquid, so Gam need to stay cool and stabilize.
But you know what my problem is? The fact that Yon, outside of that kill and the small gold lead, yes, it's those double turret plates giving it away as well. We've now got the nude quiver, we've got the recurve bow in the inventory, a bit of extra stats for Yon. And when we were saying that this bottom lane was so important for TL, I think this is the perfect start to open up this series.
Absolutely. I mean, he's a good 600 gold up on the bot lane. Summon in the top lane has been very stable. We've been seeing APA do great in the mid lane as well. He's chipped away at that turret a little bit. Could get a plate here. Pioshik is behind him.
Like and drags there. APA on top as well. Now ring around the Rosie. How do you get out? The nade just grabs Pioshik. He's going to jump in again, or rather it's Core JJ. The flash over the wall to get out. Levi safe, but TL boom in.
Yeah, the shockwave movement then misaligns the death sentence from Core JJ, so they don't get the combo there, but they still get the flash off of Levi. Maokai now going to have to be a little bit more careful with where he goes, but APA will have to be way careful.
Jump in, yeah. Kati wants the all-in, doesn't find
He wanted the
anything
Buster
more.
shot.
Okay.
APA does also still have flash and uses the extra move speed there from the phase rush, so now he can just retreat into bottom where the rest of his team has full priority. Rift Herald is used for some easy plates.
It's engaging.
Equalizer's
Kiaya's
available.
coming through, as you said. Layer it down the carpets there, but APA burns the flash. Herald also taken out at the end.
Yeah, Gam should have had a couple of these kills, man. I mean, that was a full whiff from Kiaya there, and both teams struggling with a bit with nerves here. The coordination not there. The equalizer comes down. Kati Buster shots him away from it, but I don't even think he got one tick of that equalizer. APA should have been dead for sure from that position. If he just laid it vertically on him, one or two ticks, then the Buster shot comes through, he's dead.
It's rough again. I mean, TL being gifted a bit of the early game. As you said, gold is even, but you know, you guys were talking about this a little bit before, and we've got Aphelios, we've got Orianna on the same team, plus Cassante, of course. We know what this comp's going to do if they get the 5v5s, if they get to scale in this game too. And as TL start looking towards this dragon, again, another prompt for the early game and how well, or at least well-rounded, it's going in game one.
Yeah, we've had about 7-8-ish minutes of mid lane and bottom side pushing for Team Liquid. A lot of priority on the bottom half of the map, resulting in that first blood, now resulting in the dragon as well. And even the island that is top lane up there, Summit finally does get a turret plate as well in response from that Kiaya roam down mid or half roam down mid to get in range for the Rumble ultimate. So Team Liquid very happy with this early game because their comp, this is exactly the type of start you want with this comp that will naturally transition as we get a little close, naturally transition into a very strong front-to-back team fight here with the classic carries of Orion and Aphelios that their only drawback is that they don't have their own dashes and the mobility of those carries. And Gam will have to get very creative there with the Maokai, with the Rakan to ensure that they can kill them off.
And I think coming back to topside and why Gam, you know, aren't winning it more, we're going to see 2v2, of course not, was Azal, you made a point about that Ignite Rumble in lane. Now I'm looking at APA because I've paused on that point. We can come back,
there
we can be all in. Finally, Gam! Finally, a play goes well.
There's a lot of attention over towards mid lane. Levi has been there a bunch of times, dropped Herald there, ganked multiple times, and without the flash, APA has no way out, so it's a good kill with the hook.
Hook's great. There's a flash from Pallet to move the play over. Yon's out of there thanks to Dark Passage to flash forward, but it's Sephiroth. He's healed up. Piosik in from the back line, and now we have Chaos, a 1-for-1 so far, but Core JJ doesn't miss the hooks. The all-outs there from TEL as Summit joins in the fray. Core JJ, it's so good.
Yeah, the TPs come down from both sides there, and Yon with the red gun ulti. Unfortunately, when Slater flashed forward, he slashed straight in a line, so he still got tagged by that red gun ulti. It meant that Yon lived a lot longer than they would have wanted. Here's that earlier gank.
And we all saw this perfectly. There's nothing APA can do. He doesn't have flash. So what really is important is Kati, look at that turret in mid lane. He has already mined 3 plates off. He mines another turret plate right now while this play is going on.
And I actually really love Palad's response to this. It was a great hook from Core, but he just instantly hard engages onto Yon, pushes him back. That red gun ulti kept him alive for a while, though. And with the instant arrival there from both the top laners, Piosik was there as the extra man. That made all the difference. Kiaya TP's down, but it's only to die, unfortunately, for him. So 2-for-1 there for TL. Of course, there was that kill in mid lane for Gam on the other side. So, again, the game very, very even.
Yeah, I want to actually see the individual gold of mid lane. Thank you. I was wondering what it was. I thought it was going to be at least 1,000 gold in the favor of Tristana here, but well over. So we'll see what Kati can do. Kati, traditionally for Gam, he's the go-to guy in the late game. He's the powerhouse to try and get them across the finish line, and this is exactly where they want their gold.
And that's why they put so much pressure towards it. It was APA winning the 1v1 basically all game long, but it was Gam playing so well as a squad, facilitating that advantage for Kati, really putting him in a place to succeed. TL, though, trying to start up this Herald. We'll see if Gam want to do anything about it. Levi is moving up, and both top laners are actually roaming as well because they're missing TP, so I think we're getting a fight.
I feel like at the moment, with that run up, though, it's going to take a while to get there. I mean, Gam getting in position, as you said, as Kiai tries to do some damage on the lead up, but Herald's at 3k. TL have 4 members around this, and the eye will be exposed shortly, so feels like a take, but Piosik need people to hit it. Gam run in, they steal it for 3, and TL are split up. Piosik holding on to the ulti for now. They want to get out with the disengage, and TL will go in different ways.
I think they might be a little lucky not to lose anybody's life in that one, as well as losing the objective here. Kiaya did a great job cutting off Summit as he was trying to get there. Chunked him out low, chunks him out low again, and the turret is gone as well. Gam here, stringing together some objectives. Really good defense. They know that not only because Kiaya was able to chunk out Summit on the way there, but Rumble doesn't have to get as close as the Cassante does to have a real impact.
I mean, TL kind of messed it up because they got the Herald too low, so at a certain health, the eye doesn't spawn anymore, right? It basically got too low, so they couldn't combine, the eye hit with the smite, and it just ended up being a straight-up 50-50 instead of having that advantage to actually combo it down. Levi walks in, wins the smite fight, they get it, they get that mid lane turret without even using the Herald. They obviously dropped that earlier one there, so it was softened up, but now they have the potential to open up a bit of more of a lead, as it is the Blade of the Rune King rush on Zerion. This is a new one for me. I'm not...
Did he think he was playing Kalista? What's
that seems terrible.
All right, your job, Kobe.
So let's see. We could say there are a couple of high health targets on the front line. Maybe trying to get some value there with the percentage. But we will see with it. Bottom side dive first.
Yeah, the Cataclysm down, the carpet in, but they ain't matching numbers. Piosik getting burned down, flashes out, but he's still ticking. Kiaya holding on, and he's still at half HP. The Nature's Grasp is the perfect counter underneath, but Summit with the all-out is going to make it a trade, but getting out is a different story. Flashes away from the TP, and there you go with the turret going down, but Pallet is threatening from the side.
Almost a disaster for Team Liquid because they're going to have a Tristana take topside no problem in addition to this. So the turrets are evenly going to be traded, and they lost the kill.
They saw him. It was on vision, I believe, unless that ward's outside the brush. Pallet getting out.
He was kind of, I think, trying to style on him a little bit, kind of the emoting and stuff, but he ended up losing some health off it. But this is going to be an interesting one. Yeah, Slater going Blade of Rune King, so it's going to be very much about, on-hit damage here, high HP targets. Will he go towards Rage Blade as well then? Is this going to be like a, full-on on-hit build? Ooh. He's definitely cooking. I don't know if it's going to work out.
He's got the BF sword, double long swords
so it should be Navori still, yeah.
So it should be fine there. Honestly, though, that last one turning into just a 1 tower for 1 tower and a 1 kill for one kill doesn't move the needle a lot, but starting to stack dragons for Team Liquid could be an issue. We do see full Gam movement towards this area, just a little bit later.
500, it's down. There's Pallet for the re-engage up. In fact, TL are split up as APA is the flashing target, but TL threatening to re-engage with that TP right in the middle. Summon, it looked dangerous, but maybe it's a bait in as Levi flashes out, and Pyosik over the wall yet again. Flag and drag out of there while TL threaten, and the Dragon is still there.
I mean, Gam is just doing such a good job of getting gold onto their carries. That's the big concern right now for TL, is that, yes, APA was doing great in the 1v1, but he's way down on gold compared to Kati, who's been farming plates, who's been taking towers.
Yep.
Slater got a lot of gold as well, and when we saw that gold on the left side of the screen, it was the 2 carries from Gam up at the top. They have that protection, they have that engage, and they're extending an advantage. So yes, there is that Mountain Soul available that TL can work towards, but Orianna needs farm. Orianna needs gold, and they've been struggling with it.
All right, so this one was a little risky because Pyosik does not actually hit the EQ onto the Rumble, so no damage, no knockup there, and Kiaya just turns and burns him with the demonic, roasts him down.
And that's the thing, even when you flash out of the equalizer, even when you get out of that, there is a tick or two afterwards as well. You always have to be careful about. But we're back to live. Pyosik looking for Kati.
Circle of Death, he flashes away, just use the rocket jump to get out of there, where we get some flipping down on the bottom side. Still trying to impact the map. Pyosik's tried to be so proactive, but it is also hard when Tristana is the target and he has a lot of escapes.
Yeah, but still, really good job. He doesn't use his flash. He goes up, flag and drag forces the rocket jump. The ulti forces the flash.
Yep.
So getting that off is key. But TL, you know, they're light on guaranteed engage, right? You're playing against Zeri and Tristana, 2 really slippery targets here. So it's going to be up to Core and Pyosik to be on point with those engages. If you miss, you got nothing.
They're trying to set up a trailing play here in the brush.
Okay, APA runs in and the bait's there. Kati gets exposed to a quick how do you do, but the knockup from Pallet may have saved his life. Flash forward. APA's out of range. Maybe Pallet is the hero, but eventually they get into the buster shot. Sends him to his death. Both mid laners go boom.
Pretty funny initiation there. Team Liquid were setting up the trailing play with Pyosik in the brush, but they couldn't quite connect onto Kati for long enough. And then the buster shot means it's another 1-for-1 with mid laners.
Exactly, and there's just the extra members there from Gam. Pallet kind of making the difference as he arrived faster than the TL reinforcement, so it ended up being that 3v2. So I think TL happy to get out with the 1-for-1 in that situation. Now trying to control vision around this top side. But we can watch it one more time. They almost 100% him. They got him so low here early on. The flag drag didn't hit. That's, what is that, like 50 HP maybe?
Something like that.
And barely able to survive. Then even again through the Q from Pyosik, which did land, APA eventually able to chase him down. But as you said, the buster shot into the waiting arms of Levi and Pallet means it's a 1-for-1.
A lot of these trade plays are pretty fun to watch, though. I mean, coming into the tournament, Gam with the highest combined kills per minute in their games
What a
on
surprise!
average.
What a surprise! I mean, the BCS again, that's their namesake, isn't it? I'm sure people have heard it too much. As Cuddy is going to be Shockwave back on in. Rocket jump away. He's going to finally find it, but I think APA has just redeemed himself from the other day.
There we go. We had the double KO of mid laners before. They both go down, then they get the rematch one-on-one, and APA with brush advantage gets such an early lead.
They're going to start
in the
pairing
trade.
now. They're going to start this up.
Oh, yeah.
They just want to try to force and see if they can actually draw them in. Potentially, no. They're going to turn. Maybe look for a bit of a pick.
Maybe the gun usage was not great there. Yon only with the red, the purple. I don't know what rhymes with that.
Red.
Red and purple and everything is...
Not a lot.
Yeah.
We'll go with that.
Yeah, let's struggle.
Purple, red, you're dead.
At least we don't have orange cards, but at the very least feels like part of the decision making is TL going deep, but there is some good defensive vision from Gam to spot them out. Not all due diligence has been done as Pallet is in no man's land trying to find an angle, maybe if this Baron does eventually get started up.
Yep.
Okay, they definitely know that they've been spotted, so just clear them out, back right off from here. It's not that big of a gap, so popping a couple of these Maokai saplings though. You have to be a little bit careful as a Thresh towards the later stages when you're trying to get vision against this Maokai, because just one of those things getting onto you, even before the Demonic is fully completed here from Levi, does sting a bit.
Absolutely. We can just see this one more time. APA have been getting the best of Kati in the 1v1s, had never been able to actually fully finish off these kills though, and this time Kati jumps out before the Buster Shot is actually, excuse me, before the Explosive Shot is proc, because he wants to rocket jump, then reset it, then rocket jump again, but that allowed the time for APA to catch up and finish off that kill. And I got to question a little bit Summit going this full Force of Nature. Maybe he feels like he's going to be in the side lane so often, but it is a double AD carry team. It's going to be a lot of physical damage, and he does need to be able to survive, mostly against Kati and Slater. So it's interesting to me. I thought he was just going to get Merc Treads and sit on a bit of MR from that Negatron, but he elected to go for that full second item.
Yeah, there definitely is a lot of AP on the enemy team that's going to splash around, but you know, with those nerfs a few patches ago to Force of Nature, it definitely dropped a bit in value. Here we go, though. Summit split pushing top with the teleport ready.
Yep. Feels like something to
Here
watch
he
out
comes.
for. It begins on the bottom side. It'll be a collapse here. Summit with the flash and ulti too. Gam in a choke. Now at this point, I'm worried for Pyosik, APA, what damage they can do to them as the Dragons at half
Levi's
HP.
in an awkward spot.
Nature's
But look at
Breath's gonna
Pallet,
come
look at
out.
Pallet.
You said it's awkward, but Pallet's been caught out. They turn on him. He can't flank everything used, but now TL don't have anything left available. Slater with the ulti over the wall as Summit disengages back over towards the Dragon, but even that resets and Pyosik re-engages. But look, Yon has joined back in. Dragon might go over, but Gamma in trouble because Yon has free firing guns available. Running over, Slater is hitting away at Summit as he's chased over the wall, but Yon's still alive. He's Buster shot it away as he flashes back in. It's over. Gam get the ace, and it was just pure chaos.
The ace and the dragon, that is huge for Gam. The Maokai ultimate rooted APA, so even though they are able to kill off Pallet on the flank, the Maokai ultimate does the engage for them. They don't even need Pallet here because Levi's ultimate just 6 APA on top of the Rumble ultimate, and then they fully engage and kill off the mid laner. So look at that, boom.
I also have to question using the Shockwave to actually kill off Pallet there. Yes, you killed the support, but they used so much to do it, and not having the Shockwave meant there was no threat when they're piling in onto APA. And then from this spot, this Cataclysm really worked against Yon. It was so awkward for him. He got all the Chakrams stacked up, but then they fell as he was walking the long way around. That Cataclysm couldn't really get in, and it's kind of just in this like mishmash of different fights. Did have to flash forward to actually finish off Kati to avoid total disaster, because if Kati doesn't die, maybe they just go straight to Baron, but TL, they got to be sweating now. This is a match that they come into the favorites, and it's Gam who's in the lead.
Pallet with the most worthy sacrifice of all time there.
Yeah.
The distraction recon goes
Y'all spent
over.
too much.
Exactly. Invested too much in that kill, and Gam, let's see what they can do with this newfound priority.
I mean, 3,000 gold lead. As you guys said, the Dragon and the fight on top was just so massive. We're also into 3 item territory coming up as well, with bounties on some of the biggest carries of Gam. Put your eyes towards Kiari in the top side, who's heading towards his third after getting himself the Night Harvester. Third item on the way for Kati as well with the Navori Quick Blades. Double Navori as you guys were pondering through that build on Slater as well. There's a lot of power now in this roster.
Double Demonics on this side. Kiaya with the Night Harvester Demonic Rumble build. As much damage as he can get, as much as they can squeeze out. And there they go.
TL walked into this, but the Nature's Grasp is perfect. Gam might have their ultimate fight as Yon was front-lining. TL as scattered. And when it comes knocking, when Gamma 0-2 down,
that's Baron.
They bring everything up to the table.
APA is looking for a Shockwave though.
How dangerous. So Core JJ needs the hook to come through, but doesn't connect. As you said, APA with the Shockwave there, but Gam still have their members.
If he also uses this mic, he has a second charge, but it is refreshing. He's going to try to see if he can sneak around, but if they stay, they're likely to die and lose the Baron anyway. This is a disaster for TL.
It's just going down so quickly. Thanks, Tristana. Thank you, Zeri. And thank you, Baron. Gam, 6,000 gold up with the Red Bull Baron power play kicking off. And this first game is a total turnaround.
Impressive stuff from Gam. After an arduous fight through play-ins, qualifying here and having 2 rough games to start it out, they're coming out firing here. And look at the initiation. I mean, Kati gets to start free firing before it even starts, right into Maokai engage, and immediately they've got Team Liquid scattered here, having to run away across the Rumble ultimate. Yon just got deleted
I mean, TL's setup for these fights have just not been good. They don't have their battle lines. You know, Jan is walking up to try to clear vision, to try to poke away. He's so far up. Core's not behind him, so the Lantern doesn't even do anything. Orianna's not there to support. Like, they are not organized in these fights whatsoever, and GAM is not to be underestimated. Yes, they're a team that, you know, you were happy to draw, but if you're not playing to your top level, they can crush you, and they're doing it in this first game.
I think historically we know that GAM are always a team, and throughout many worlds, with different formats, of course, that they could always take a team of some of the best right there, the unexpected demons. And I feel like here against TL opening up, TL maybe got a little bit complacent, a little bit comfortable, couple of mistakes burned through the early game, but GAM are now back on top. And with this Baron power play, we're already close to cresting towards the 3,000 mark. Midway pushing in, top side now pressured as well, and GAM waiting for that next misstep from TL in their own jungle to try and seal the deal.
Okay, they're closing in with Baron. Look at Pallet. Pallet's really deep here.
Oh my god, the Nature's Grasp again. Levi's ultis have been huge. The flag and drag out of there from Piosik, but Pallet rolls in! The man who came in just before playoffs has set up on this Rakan as TL are running away scared. Help me, they say. Somebody, is anybody there? But America's so far away. We're here in Korea, at least closer to Vietnam, as game one will bridge apart. Inhibitor down, the Nexus now open, and game one may have been TL favorites, but GAM came in and said, wait, hold my Red Bull.
Absolute steamroll in those team fights. Beautiful stuff there from GAM in the mid game to roll it over. They are
Meet your next pillow. Why do we make our pillow in the shape of a cube? I'll tell you.
close the games.
And this time they didn't even have a lead, right? You know, it was just even, right? You could say competitional lead and things like that. But yeah, it's honestly been a story that has followed TL, I would say, since 2020, where, you know, ever since they stopped winning, you know, it's always been that struggle for them where they've often been a really strong early game team in NA, but haven't been able to have, you know, that stability in the mid and late game. But that being said, every time this team goes international, they seem to go 3-3. They seem to take a game off of an LPL or an LCK big dog. They are now 0-3 at Worlds. They almost beat T1, but then, well, I don't know if I want to say almost.
Count, yeah.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, they started with a really good game, but then they got absolutely trashed by Energy. They just had a really bad loss against Scam. If you go out like this, no one's going to remember the T1 or care about the T1 game. That is going to be the blip on the radar, and the consistency is going to be getting slammed.
Maybe he's not good enough, right? And again, the worst year yet when this team goes par for the course. Now facing match point as GAM have a leg up. Let's quickly talk about Pick and Bandit for in.
Got to be Rakan here, right? Split up the lovers duo. Palette was amazing with it, and it's just in general one of the best, if not the best, engaged supports in the game right now. So a Syndra. Kati, one of his favorite champions here. That's why I was banned in the previous game. And I expect Rakan split up here. Unless they've got some extra interesting ideas here.
Jungle?
Definitely
I wonder if they go Rumble again. Okay.
I mean, that was certainly very big for Kiai, but now it would be two really strong APs. And then it becomes a little bit hard to balance.
Oh, they're going to go Renata. They lock it in. So, I mean, you're going to be playing into Rakan, but
pre-counter it, yeah.
Exactly. The idea is, hey, you're going to play dive. You're going to be playing this aggressive stuff with the Rakan, and we're going to bring this out. That being said, it's not like you have to lock in full dive just because you have Xayah Rakan. You can just have one form of engage and have something that's a little bit less committal. So I still think you go Rakan. Nico would be interesting. They just lock it. So this is that other kind of pocket pick that I was talking about from APA. The three that he's kind of known for is the more little off-meta things. In Pro is the Ziggs, the Cass, and the Nico, which is now going to be brought out here. For playoffs,
this was his
APA,
comfort.
This was his comfort. And he had really good engages in the 5v5s, was able to set up his team well. But I just think more so than anything, Jan needs to step it up. And he's going up against a Draven in the bot lane. Draven Renata, one of the most dominant bot lane duos, because Draven can play so aggressive with the bailout to get those cash outs.
And to the earlier point, you can kind of back out of a Rakan and not go full engage, but you can't back out of a Rakan and a Nico pick and not go full engage now. They are committed. That is full engage into a Renata, into a Syndra scatter of the week, into the stand aside from Draven. So GAM, they definitely see this coming, and they've got quite a lot of counter engage tools already. Now they just need to worry about Piosik, the one who can really throw a wrench in the game plan here. And so they're taking away the Jarvan, the early ganker. They already kept over their two bans from game number one, his two favorite champions as of now with the Lee Sin and the Viego. So honestly think they're checking a lot of boxes here in Champ Select.
I mean, I think the champion pool's slimming down massively for both these junglers as well. Wukong now taking off. Like, do we start going through Vi?
Sejuani.
There's a lot of tanks up right now. The Rel is also very, very good, very viable. I would hope that Team Liquid would be able to get it, but you know, Levi could definitely take that as jungle for Gam.
And something else I will say is that, you know, yes, the Nico is dive, but I do like champions that deal lots of AoE damage against Renata, because Renata succeeds so much against single target damage, because you deny that one kill. If you can go in, you have lots of AoE CC, lots of AoE damage, it becomes very difficult to pick and choose who you're going to bail out. Similar with Zillion. So it'll be interesting to see where they do want to go with that. Jack's the final ban there. So this does lead me to believe maybe it's just like a Renekton on 4 for Kiaya, and then, you know, trying to ban out some of these kind of consistent matchups that we see into that.
Yeah, get him a strong front line here from Team Liquid. Are we also going to take... Oh, they actually banned the Nocturne. Usually they like to pair it with the Nico for the engages, but they're preemptively taking that from Levi. Obviously, Levi, actually, I would say the most famous Nocturne in the world.
Agreed.
After the original Gam Super Leash level 6 Nocturne that they're so well known for.
It is interesting, though, because he barely played it at all this year. He's 2 games on it, right?
Yeah, you play it once, you get Super Leashed once, Azale. You remember that for a lifetime.
Of course. I mean, that's the most famous Nocturne game ever, I would say. But it's not been something that's been, you know, popular in Worlds at all, and there was no dive drafted with it, so, like, I was kind of surprised. I didn't even think that it would really kind of fit into their comp. But it's going to be the Vi as the option here now for Levi, so is going to have some dive, and I have to see what are they going to pair with that, because obviously Vi plus Draven plus Syndra, a lot of upfront burst, a lot of damage to try to get that kill and try to get that cash out.
I kind of like Rel here for Pioshik. Even though Pioshik loves to be early skirmishing, dueling junglers, he likes to have damage, so it'll be interesting to see him on one of the tank options this time around.
But surely that tank option's not going to be the Trundle, right?
So,
I mean, there's no pure tank on the opponents.
Well, and here's the thing. So Trundle, you know, is one of those champions that you can actually play against people that don't have any dashes like Draven, and you can just pillar him out of every fight. And you can actually go a pillar max build early on, but Kindred, the world champion on his skin.
Use the skin. It's so good.
You have to. You surely have to. I mean, this guy wants to hold on. Like, when you're in an elimination match and you're about to be knocked out from Worlds, when you just won last year, this is when you bring it out.
And so this was banned against him basically all year long in NA. I think he got to play it once or twice. That's about it. He was known as a terror with it in scrims. Of course, he won a world championship. Pioshik, if you don't know, it means mark in Korean. So it is actually named for the Kindred. He was a Kindred one trick when he was first coming up. That's his name. He has a world championship skin on it. It doesn't really get any more iconic than this pick.
Ooh, I like the last pick here for Gam. The Kennen for Kiaya.
So good.
He's really, really going to be a big problem for TL to deal with. Both, you know, counter engage for later and having your own ultimate, but also the lane phase here. Kiaya has some extremely good lane phase stats, and as good as Summit was, unless he gets, you know, some jungle attention early, maybe, might be a bit brutal early on.
Because from the side of TL, I kind of want to digress through this comp, because we talked about it early. There's a lot of all-in, there's a lot of...
They went that Draven all full marks
last year out when they're down match point against Gam, who brought game 1 here in the 0-2 day. Can they take it to equal footing here? Can they take it to 1 apiece?
I love it. I think it might actually be so hilarious, though, if Pioshik walks up fully blinged out in his world skin, world champion from last year, and then just goes 0-4 at Worlds and is like, see, I'm going home. Wearing complete world skins.
It's kind of interesting, too. I mean, I say this non-ironically, though people will kind of take it as flame. I mean, Yon just hasn't had a good tournament so far. You need kind of that secondary marksman. You need damage coming from somewhere. You need to have a consistent source of damage. So it's like maybe it is, you know, hey, we're going to bring in Kindred. We're going to have the DPS coming from there. Obviously, they need to have Yon step up if they want to be able to turn this series around, because he has kind of been absent for TL, I feel like, throughout the event.
And I feel like Gam have drafted for that, right? Again, strong 2v2. We already talked about the Draven. Once you cash in and start snowballing in this game, it gets very dangerous for TL. And I feel like Gam have done their research. They know what's been going on in the tournament, but also what happened in that first game. Try and punish that bottom lane a little bit further.
I love it. Pioshik wants to advertise his world skin so he can rake it in. Any more extra purchases, welcome.
It's also worth noting it is Cleanse and Ignite down in the bot lane. So Pallet, you know, he is playing the most common runes, but it's not going to be heal on the Renata as we sometimes do see. So they're going more aggressive. They're looking for those kills. Obviously, anytime you're playing against CC heavy, but also for the exhaust, you need to have the cleanse on the Draven because it's all about having that burst, having those aggressive trades, and they're stepping forward here.
Already, it's getting that damage down. You can see Slater with a couple of chunks into core JJ. Even Yon at the end doing exactly what the Draven lane does best.
Yeah, they're going to push up, and since you've got a bottom side start for Pyosik, he's not looking like he's coming down here early, so it is going to be Gam moving in onto the turret, trying to make Yon miss CS at turret, try and constantly harass him here, throwing out the Renata harassment under. They do get the handshake as well, try to pull him away. But Pyosik, look at the minimap. He's coming back down. He's crossing after a red side clear. He's going to hop over the back of the dragon and come behind them.
Very sneaky. No ward there to spot him out. Look at where the wave is at. TL will be able to clear some of this. This is about to crash as well. At 2 minutes 50, Pyosik. There's a reason why he's Kindred's feared. Core JJ with a root, but no! He fails it as he flashes away. It's an early catch, but no, only for Paladin. Pyosik wants to trade this off, flash away from Slater, and he gets one. This might actually be okay for TL, considering that Pallet got the kill.
Yeah, exactly. It's not the end of the world here. And honestly, Slater made it way better for TL than it should have been. He should have just accepted his death. There's no reason to flash away there because now there's the opportunity for the regank. The cleanse was used early on the exhaust, so I think that made sense to get the kill on the core. Okay. But that flash when Pyosik's behind you, you are not getting away.
Also, this could get worse because they know that he started on this bottom side and they counted his jungle camp. So they have to know Pyosik is going topside now, and Levi just finished a full clear down to the bottom side. So it's not going to get any better for Team Liquid. There's no help coming, and their wave naturally will push back out away from them. So this bottom lane, it suddenly becomes more difficult. Sometimes it's the knock-on effects afterwards.
Yeah, they should know that he's down here, though. They did have that ward over in the river, so they spotted him doing it, and Core now going to suss this out. I'm also interested to see Pyosik. He is obviously a Kindred master. You notice how he's not taking the topside scuttle right away? Because the mark was on the bot side scuttle, if you actually wait, you can force spawn it on that topside scuttle. So he's going to delay his scuttle take very likely to try to get that guaranteed first mark, which is one of the tricks you can do as a Kindred player.
First one lost bottom at the very least, but I like the point out there, especially since he's hovering there for now.
There it is. He waits till it spawns, and then he actually just took it. So he was hitting that scuttle until it was 300 HP, and then didn't kill it until it spawned, and now I got a free mark.
Just got the smite.
I can see why people like you guys. You're very smart. You know what you're talking about.
It's a little trick, only works for the first one, and he's going to be able to counter jungle Raptors afterwards, but it means bottom lane is still...
They weren't expecting it, were they? Good damage coming through, loyalty program.
They kind of were expecting it, is why he walked up there. Right. Except that by walking up, you then take the Q and you take a bunch of damage anyways, and your wave is still pushing out. This is why I really highlight it as your problem doesn't get any easier for this bottom lane after that play. And a lot of times, it is the next few minutes after that where you really start to pay, because they know Pyosik has to be going to the top side of the map, and the wave control is just not there, and you're into a Draven.
I mean, look at the farm, right? And it's not that, oh, Jan, you're missing CS. It's that he can't walk up to the wave. The wave has been hard frozen on them after that play. So he just has to take the L, take a base, come back with that extra longsword, and hope that they can reset it. This wave will eventually bounce because he is letting it crash. But that being said, when he bases, he's going to have a massively better buy, and I'll be interested to see where he does go. There's a lot of different Draven builds, but I'm seeing a lot of Dravens love to go towards the early serrated dirt, get that early lethality, and sit on that for a later collector. And we'll see if that's going to be the option, because it gives them so much power, and especially when you're paired with that Renata, you win every 2v2. There's just no way Core and Jan can win a 2v2 against this 2v2.
I mean, again, I love how important it has been in this bottom side as we continue talking about it. As you said, wave reacting now. Pyosik hovering in lane. It looks like Cardi as well is trying to make the move down.
Yeah, seen on a ward here, so it looks like they're brewing their trap of their own. They'll see the recall, and they might even see the Vi if he comes down here, too.
They did. They pinged on the Vi. So they should know, I think, that the Vi is there. So I think Pyosik is just going to be here for a potential counter gank. But if Vi shows mid, then they could actually look for a go.
No flash on Slater.
Not going to pull the trigger. At the very least, still waiting. Pyosik being very, very patient. But the problem is every second he spends here and nothing happens, well, ignore me, because something does. Pallet flashes away, exhaust is down as well, trying to get Yon. back with that first kill. Pyosik gets another as well, and this guy well and truly on the board.
Yeah, this is actually really critical. They had to prevent the bounce. Gam desperately wanted to crash the wave, so it would bounce and then come back to them, and they could set up another freeze off of the base. But now, you lose that kill, you lose the flash off pallet, and Slater can't actually take a base timing there because the wave is crashing on him. So this is really important here for TL. Unfortunately, Jan doesn't get the kill, so Jan is still going to be very far behind in the 1v1, but Pyosik is off to the races.
Yeah, and honestly, what you're talking about earlier with them having a backup AD carry, Jan's actually the backup here. Pyosik is the #1 DPS
Time
carry.
to learn
so
support, kid.
Exactly. Both kills onto him, and they've got the perfect pairing. We often mention Pyosik and APA and the bond that these two have created, both in and out of the game. You've got the perfect setup. You know, APA is, as much as he's made mistakes elsewhere, he is amazing engaged in setup as a Nico for a big carry jungler like Pyosik on his Kindred.
And I think as well, you know, what we're talking about with the early game so far, the fact that this Kindred now has momentum, now has 2 kills, goes against what GAM are doing with their comp. We know that one item pick potential is huge, right? But still, the fact that this early game is going so well with, as Al could mention, second mark coming through, means that TL have a lot more to play with. This Levi's just been spotted out in a missing Herald pit 10 seconds too early. Kiayu with his ulti available so they don't pull it, but TL off on the side. Force the flash. Cardi now poured out. He's got no summoners, and Pyosik says, another one in, but the handshake's so good. Now with the cannon slicing Maelstrom, it's in a great spot for Gam to hit back as the first adoration cashes in. Oh, TL, it looks so good as the axes come back. The scat of the week there. Kiayu follows up with a kick ulti from Pyosik as well. Drop the DRX. He lives. But Gam turned that around so suddenly.
Really good kiting by Kati there. Keeps them on the edge, scatters the weak, pushes them away, kind of baits them in even further, and the rest of Gam come to aid him.
Yeah, that was so critical. That scatter was so clutch. Then the handshake from Pallet. Everyone piles in at the last moment there. It looked at first like it was going to be an easy kill on Takati, but it was not. At the end of the day, getting that cash in on the Draven is huge.
Yeah.
And he did go for this rated Dirk. He did pick up the Sheen. You do sometimes see people go Essence Reaver, but Triforce is very common from this spot, and this is back to that earlier play. They know they need to try to get something going on this bot lane. They force the flash, exhaust the slow, and they're able to chase down.
Yep, nicely done from them. But as we know, there was already a quick rebuttal up here towards the Rift Herald fight. And initially it looked great unless you look at the mini-map. And you see the bottom lane are recalling, and they're coming over to the fight after that bottom side play. So it's kind of a domino effect from the bottom side play, getting the success there with the earlier recalls. It does mean Team Liquid, during this time, they get a turret plate on bottom side, I believe. 2 for Jan.
Okay. So it's something, and at the end of the day, it is just that one kill for Gam as TL kind of narrowly limp their way out. But it does mean there was also Herald taken after that, and it's the cash-in kill, and it is going to be Triforce, so we can see that Hearthstone Axe, I believe it is called, that is picked up. So Slater going to be working towards that, and is still way ahead of where Jan is, but Jan did get those 2 turret plates, so that's like basically a kill for himself down in that bot lane, which helps to kind of salvage the situation.
But as you can see with the gold there, I mean, still Slater, we're telling the story of close to that first item. You're both mentioning, I think the biggest thing is so far, it feels like we're going to talk about Pyosik versus Slater.
Found axe, excuse me.
No, you're close enough. Everyone saw the axe and thought, an axe is an axe.
It's a triangle. Oh. More shapes in the game.
Right shape.
There you go. Pyosik currently up on the top side, though, should be able to clear down through the skull again, but it means Gam gonna take the dragon, Kati gonna take a turret plate, so Gam again with the early lead this time around, much better than the start last time. 1,000 gold plus the dragon start looks really good for them.
Yeah, they're got to be feeling good about their chances in this game. You know, feeling confident after game number 1. They know that they can out-team fight TL if they're performing like they did in game number 1. And again, they have the gold where they need it. It's on their carries. They have great counter engage. They have great answers to the dive here from TL. And a lot of pressure now on Pyosik. Had that amazing first game, but it's been a lot more quiet since.
So now I think you guys got to tell me a little bit about how TL continue to mitigate, or at least maybe slow the pace down. Is that what we want to see here, Kobe? Like, because Gam, obviously, with what we talked about, with one item, with a comp with the Draven as well, want to speed the game up, right?
Honestly, I just want to see them make use of some of this engage from APA. You know, get creative with this Nico and actually set up more kills for Pyosik and try and snowball this Kindred. He's got another mark. At least he was able to get in there to get mark number 2. But you really want to get to mark number 4 with Kindred so you get the extra range.
Yeah.
because honestly, yeah, their solo laners don't scale real great for Team Liquid. Definitely will have double 80 carries for later, though, and a lot to make space with.
Question answered. I feel important enough to note that Pyosik has picked up another mark as well. So number 3, 1 off that special amount. As APA going to pop blossom towards mid. They thought it was a fake, but Pyosik's rolling in. Cutty, his flash is about 10 seconds off a cooldown. TL with their timing is
He's waiting for the mark.
And he was indeed, but Pyosik was out of range.
No, but he should have got it because it applies, and as long as he has the assist tag, let's see if he actually did get it. We can double check.
Yeah, he did. He did.
Right, 'cause he got this.
And he got a jungle steal, so he has 4 marks. He just actually
Good correction.
just jumped up ahead there. But that was, again, one of these tricks that you can have as a Kindred player, because when you apply the mark on a new player, it takes some time to arm, for lack of a better term.
Yep.
So he was waiting there. That's why it looks so weird. He's calling out APA, don't kill, don't kill, don't kill. Then when it applies, they get the kill, and now he jumps out of 4 marks. This is so cool to see.
Really huge as well. Let's look topside though, because the roam from APA again, but the slicing maelstroms there. Summit's in danger. Teleport on him. Unleash power. Summit caught napping as the 2v2 on the bottom side opens up. But Pyosik's now here. Now that the ult is out from Pallet as well, it seems approachable, but Pyosik not pulling the trigger just yet.
Oh, Gam is going to blow up topside here after that kill. Now only APA is around, and Levi's looking for more.
Walking in with no mana, has the flash available. It's
All the routes!
Angle bumped! Oh, APA! I was lured in, I'm so sorry.
All I had to do was ask for it, and APA 2 kills back to back makes them good for Team Liquid. They are still behind. Let that be true. They're definitely still behind here. Gam has the lead, but there's a little bit of life on the Rift.
Yeah, absolutely. These are some confidence-building plays here. APA, a couple good plays in a row. I'm just enjoying this game as a fan of Kindred. This is my most played champion all the time. I love the little intricacies, the details that they're playing around with here. Summit going in aggressive as APA was on the move, but it's Kiaya who arrives first, and APA says, this is a lost fight. I can't actually walk in through the Syndra, so he had to walk the long way around.
Yeah, and then Levi sets it up here from the brush. APA, though,
Great flash.
Really good flash into double root under the tower. Thank you very much. Flashes the Gam there as he walks away.
And man, I'll tell you one thing. As you said, it's great to be a fan of this game. There's only a 1K gold lead. Gam with the Dragon. We've got another one in a minute 30, but it's just a quick reminder. After this, you're wondering, there's got to be another game. Our featured matchup presented by Mercedes-Benz is coming up next. T plus Kia versus BDS. That's our next series. So it doesn't just end there. EU are also fighting for their life.
That's exactly what I was thinking, actually.
Yeah?
Oh, there's got to be another game after this, right?
Great timing. People might tune in and be like, this is it? No way. I mean, we're still hoping this might go to the distance, but I mean, TL, regardless, making them work for it, as MasterCard's lane economy snapshot says, hail Pyosik with his 4 marks and his very fed Kindred.
Yeah, he's in a great spot and does actually secure that as Levi was jumping forward. Jan is in an okay spot now. He does have his Kraken Slayer completed. He has the Crit Cloak on top, so he's not so far behind Draven. You know, he is within striking distance. It's about 400 to 500 gold. So they have kind of stemmed the bleeding somewhat, excuse me. And I just really want to see if Jan can have that big fight, because I do think everyone else on TL has kind of had their big moments, but they really need to get Jan involved. They need to have him, you know, performing at that high level as TL are moving up for potential Herald scrap.
Actually, I think they're going to look for a double teleport. They're not teleporting to the same ward, though, so everybody will be here on time.
Can move back towards mid. Herald resets for the time being. Pop Blossom single, but it gets the flash out. Now, flash or Pop Blossom, what's more important in this fight?
I mean, I think in short term, it is actually the Pop Blossom, because playing without ulti for this Nico is really devastating. But we'll have to see, can Core get like an ulti flash onto Kati and you immediately eliminate him? The combat power is just much lower from APA, and Gam aren't willing to risk it. They don't want to give up a kill here.
Yeah, I think they can try and transition down towards this Dragon. It looks like TL going to chase them a little bit, but their bottom lane just goes, or APA used his teleport already.
Oh, he's looking for Kati.
Be a big pick.
Pyosik has ult. Kindred ult, great for tower diving.
Oh yeah, and with Herald there as well, you don't have to wait for the minion wave while the rest of the team might be caught out. Jan gets targeted. Kiaya going in. Hang on, this Kennen has an angle with Kati roaming down. He's like, forget the top of TL. We might have a fight. There's the assistant. Rather getting through. Jan flashes out over the wall. Core JJ's knackered, and he's taken out. It's a bit of a pick from Kati as the rest of TL have to run away.
I mean, Kati just played this so well. They were wrapping around on him, and he just turns it into a pincer move onto Jan. No one was blocking for Jan for a lot of those hits. He got incredibly low, has to blow both summoners. Core dies for free, and then it's a TP down towards bottom, so potentially going to look for this tower as well while TL are striking again top.
Pick off on Kiaya against the wall. 1 versus 2. Slicing Maelstrom used just to help with the wave as well. An easy pick once again.
Waiting for the mark.
Oh, yes, indeed. Number 5, taken away.
Exactly. Again, just playing around these marks so incredibly well. That is the communication between these two players. They have them in a really good spot. And remember, after your first range increase at 4, you only need 3 for the additional range increases. So he is only 2 off that second range increase. That's where I always feel like it really starts to get out of control for Kindred, because you can so safely auto from that point. When you have that additional range, you really can become powerful. But let's watch this again. And to me, it's so much about the move down from Kati, who's coming from that top side. He's being chased by multiple members, but he's the pincer play.
And look at the mini-map. APA stays top to get the local gold for killing that turret because they use the Rift Herald. So that's what turns this play that originally is Team Liquid 2 for 1 on topside trying to make a pincer movement themselves into GAM advantage numbers through the river, GAM pulling out the kill. But then Team Liquid do pick up the extra kill here for Pyosik, and Pyosik is the carry for this team. Still deathless on that Kindred with a lot of extra damage coming through to here. So should be able to get a little bit more magic resist to deal with all that damage from the Syndra as well as the Kennen. And maybe the world champ on the world championship skin could be what they need to push it to another game.
There's definitely a carry angle here. I mean, they are up in gold. TL's not in a bad spot. You know, likely going to go towards like Wits End second, something along those lines. If you go Wits End Merc Treads, there's a lot of CC and there's a lot of AP over on this side, so that is going to be pretty powerful here as GAM trying to set up a potential angle.
Okay, cease and desist at the flash in. TL group up though. Levi, has he gone too far forward? But hang on a minute, Renata ulti in time. No, it wasn't. Yon dies in the end. Kiaya goes under turret. GAM still have it in them. The fire burns as they're 1 step away, and they keep the game competitive.
Heartbreaking for Yon. He was just a couple seconds off having his ultimate, just barely didn't have it. So great timing from GAM to be able to find that hard engage. They had that time to the second to have the confidence to go for that.
TL still trying to get something out of it with the trade on top side. APA keeps on pushing here for the Nico. They do get a tier 2. Remember, tier 2's worth 800 gold for your team in the design team attempt to buff split pushing. So definitely a very valuable trade there for Team Liquid.
That's supposed to be top lane gold. What's the mid laner doing stealing that? Give it back!
Well, meanwhile, 1v1 in the bottom side. Kiaya's got his flash available, but Summit also does match it. Come on, Summit! But out of range, Kiaya's out, and that's a very fast little rat.
And I think he would have flashed if he had his E.
Oh! What did I say? Rats can't run!
You just need a little bit of minion wave help from your opponents. He was waiting for the minion line to get here for the slice and dice, and he goes for it.
Crocodile versus the rat. It's really never a fair matchup there.
True.
Report GAM minions. They should have stopped.
It's such a big kill, guys. Mid turret opens as well. Gold lead for TL here at 19 minutes of the game as Kanti walking into the brush of death. Guess who hasn't left? It's Summit with Scatter the Weak out, and Cuddy gets burnt down. He just got to the lane.
Lucky, though, that Summit didn't have his ulti, because that could have been him going for an all-in if it was actually up and available.
Yep.
As Jan's just kind of hanging out here around mid lane, has to play safe because Core is on the roam, and Levi trying to set up a potential pick angle here onto APA, but he doesn't win that 1v1, so he would need to wait for an additional member to come before he looks for the engage.
All right, as we transition to 20 minutes here as well, we're going to see them move all the way towards the Baron, of course, but here's the replay that we're going to take a look at first. As the flash initiation, we were talking about the small timing between getting the Xayah ultimate. It is covered by Pyosik pretty well. It's just that Draven ultimate from Slater, nicely timed over the top, an execution for him. He cashes in and is able to make good on that one. And then you know how this 1v1 eventually turns out.
Yeah, just really well played. And the Strikebreaker versus these range matchups can be so powerful. People often just default towards the Gore Drinker, but he has this slice and dice into the Strikebreaker slow there, and then gets back in for the flash Q, Strikebreaker, the W to finish it off. Really well played, clean stuff from Summit.
Yeah, and that Kennen really wants to be using the flash for these team fights, really wants to play with the rest of the team, doesn't want a lot of 1v1 side lane action versus Summit versus Team Liquid. So Team Liquid with their side lanes pushing, they've got the advantage.
Hang on a minute, there's the flash forward. Core JJ's found a pick. Kiaya, as you said, he wants this flash. Well, he wants it to get out of here, that's for sure. Pyosik with another kill. Stop giving the Kindred money.
And this is while they're split pushing.
Don't stop.
While
Keep
they,
going.
Yeah, you want that, yeah.
while they have Summit pushing on bottom side, so they're going to apply pressure to bottom side. After that pick, they can just move on down to the Baron here and keep things rolling. There is a control ward inside, but they've got plenty of damage. 2 carries for themselves. Will burn right through this thing.
Yeah, and this is problematic because they have to send someone to answer Summit. He's still going. He's going to go in towards the inhibitor towers if they don't send someone back. Yaya, remember, has no TP, so he can't even TP to join here. APA is on the flank.
He can try and keep Levi out. He's looking to deny the smite.
Amazing map play, though, to say the least. Either way, it's damage done, but TL have to hold their own in front of this Baron. The steal, Levi's in. Oh! TL, how could you let him do it? He'll sacrifice his life, but can they get anything else? Surely not. This team is liquid sometimes. The jump up from APA finds Slater at least some retribution. The ulti used defensively, but Cuddy's found a kill over the wall. Yon and Piosik just want what they were given, which is some money back in this game. 2 kills, make it 3 surely, but with Scatter the Weak, Piosik is being bailed out in his own unique way. Yon chasing after, TL are getting low, Cuddy has a full mana bar. All it takes is a Scatter the Weak. Oh guys, you must be on edge. There's the ulti from Piosik to get the kill finally. The Whirling Death won't get it, but why was that allowed to happen?
That one hurts. There's just no reason that they should just let him walk up bold as you like into the pit like that. They were clearly worried about taking the fight because someone was on the roam trying to join, but...
Well, APA was at the behind the Baron pit, so he was looking for the Vi there, and Vi just walks in through the river instead. Good job from him avoiding the Seek, but Piosik at Worlds, another Baron stolen away from him. Last time he still won the series, so
true.
That's all I'm saying.
Guma stole a lot of those.
Guma stole a bunch of Barons, and it didn't end up mattering.
That didn't matter, right? It's totally fine, Kobe.
Here's your cope. I'm delivering
there you
it
go.
live.
Thank you. That's my world champ. Let's go.
Well, Jets, look, are you ready to do it again? Because TL and Gam are forcing themselves around the Dragon. Third Dragon for Gam it would be here as they're just waiting. TL are split apart. Look at the map right now. Yon running in. They're not a full unit, but Gam aren't going to pull the trigger. So, first Dragon of the game goes to TL in their own way.
Yep, going to be able to grab that. It is obviously not the best soul, but just denying that soul point from Gam is really important here. TL, despite the Baron guffaw, the Baron mistake, whatever you want to call it, it is going to be still a decent spot for them in this game. They're still, nearly 4,000 ahead. They have a monstrously fed Piosik here, and no one can really answer someone in the side lanes anymore. He's kind of gotten past that time where Kiaya can do anything to him, so it's going to have to be Kati often answering those waves in the side lanes, but Syndra by herself can really be vulnerable.
Man, this is insane. All right, usually when you have Zai on your team, you want to combo a Blade Caller. Usually you want to combo a Blade Caller to burst down Baron, but he uses his feathers to try and get Vi, but Vi is in there anyway.
I don't know. I just think that's just such an obvious mistake. Like, they saw him coming. It was still at about 2K. Yeah. You can just stop hitting it and just turn on the Vi. There's no need to actually flip that. And the look of total disappointment on Kobe's face is measured by what I feel in my soul.
There were about 6 things they could have done differently here, but
this one. Well, it's dangerous. Levi with the ulti straight away. All it takes is Scatter the Weak, but early little ulti coming through from the King of TL. Going to try and turn it around. Out it goes, but it's a slicing melt. ABM might have brought it back. As you said, he pops, he blossoms. TL are back on in this. Guys, you don't have to be depressed anymore.
They don't need no Baron. They're just going to kill all the champions.
APA gets into the back line, putting TL on his shoulders in that fight. That was definitely nerve-wracking, but now, could this be the end? It definitely could. They're going to push for it.
You've heard of the legend of Doran not caring about cannon minions. Piosik will one-up you. Steal as many Barons as you want. He's going to win the game.
On his world champion skin as well. The absolute legend pulls this out. As you said, guys, been banned against him all year for good reason. But TL have still got it. Yeah, there's a couple of mistakes in between. But we go to the game 3 where North America stay alive.
I gotta say this.
Well, it's
6 things they could have done differently here, but
this one. Well, it's dangerous. Levi with the ulti straight away. All it takes is Scatter the Weak, but early little ulti coming through from the King of TL. Going to try and turn it around. Out it goes, but it's a slicing melt. ABM might have brought it back. As you said, he pops, he blossoms. TL are back on in this. Guys, you don't have to be depressed anymore.
Good evening, ma'am. Doing 52 in the 25 zone. Have you been drinking?
No, if you're smelling something, it might be my spiked eggnog.
this has worked for a lot of teams to full target on him.
But it means that they're going to be dropping some of their bans, right? They banned out Lee Sin. Do you want to ban Kindred? Do you ban Lee Sin again? Do you ban the Viego, right? Like, so there's something that's going to be dropped because they're adding in these new bans. And they are going to be on blue side, which has been dominating. Of course, it's a little bit of a fraudulent stat because the higher seeds are always choosing blue side as well. That is kind of skewing it.
Yeah.
But blue side definitely really strong in this meta. And I'm interested to see what they do elect with this final ban. It's clearly a big discussion. There was no hesitation in game 1 or 2, but now that they've lost, it's a little bit back to the drawing board, and they're not sure.
I certainly think the Rumble ban is a good one here for Team Liquid to take that away. Kiaya had massive damage output with that one and not nearly the impact with the Kennen, so I like that. And they did split, so giving at least the one respect ban to Pyosik, banning away the Kindred. That, however, leaves open his two recent favorite champions, which are Viego and Lee Sin.
Yeah.
And he might be able to punish with those.
And also there's potential. I was going to say, if they left up Ori, there could be the Xayah-Ori trade. If you ban Ori, it's just such an easy first pick on that Xayah. I don't think TL will give over the Lovers Duo like we saw it happen last time. The GAM elected to actually let that happen because Core is a big fan of that Rakan, and I think Kai'Sa Rakan is probably the answer that they're going to be grabbing.
Personally, at 2, when you pair with this and you're building out the full team comp, if you go and start with the Kai'Sa Rakan combination, then you can add in the Rel and have a really big 2-layered engage. So then, even though Xayah is so good at counter engage, you can still get it.
Oh, but as you said, you know, when you want to target Pyosik in another way,
Viego Lee Sin, baby.
What's left open? He's got his choice. Even though the Kai'Sa's not picked in the end, why pick it now? We've already denied the Lovers Duo. You guys hit the nail on the head.
Yeah, and I mean, it is interesting, right? Because if you lock this here, you know, that does kind of protect the pick, but at the same time, maybe they're worried, hey, Levi could take it away. I do think this makes the most sense, though. But Kai'Sa has not been doing very well at Worlds. Has been losing almost all the matchups into the Xayah. Pardon?
Neither has Jan.
True. There you go. Well. It's a match made in heaven. But I want to see where Levi's going to go, and it is going to be the Wukong. So Wukong is really kind of falling out of favor. It's gotten a few picks, but this champion got nerfed a while ago and has really kind of been out of the pro meta mostly since then. But this is a lot of team play, a lot of engage, a lot of burst again.
And if you watch the VCS, this was still one of Levi's most played champions. He is now
most played by a lot.
26-4, I believe, on this. So with a lot of other people drop Wukong, Kanavi did not really drop it, and Levi certainly did not drop it. This is a huge power pick. He's undefeated so far at Worlds with it as well, with 3 wins in plans, I believe.
Yeah, so he has 12 games overall this year, 91.7% win rate on it. Woo! Obviously, they were very dominant in their region. And as far as the career stats, I can check on that for you, too.
This is also a pretty comfort pick for APA. He's always been a big fan of the Ahri. Into the Syndra here. Let's see about some early jungle attention. They did end up dropping Pyosik's pick, though. Team Liquid, they in favor of getting comfort here for APA. It does come at the cost of possible, what I would assume are Lee Sin Viego bans.
But honestly, like, I don't care. If they ban Lee Sin Viego here, you still would have Jarvan, so Jarvan's going to be banned. If they ban that
wanted my Rel,
then there's
too.
Rel, exactly, right? So I think that there's enough jungle options that you don't have to early pick it unless you're like, I must have this because I'm going to carry on it. So it is going to be interesting. You generally assume that there is going to be kind of those physical damage and point-and-click CC pairings with Ahri. Vi Ahri was always the one that everyone talked about. That was such a common pairing, but it did kind of really fall out of favor. So I'm interested to see if they're going to be banning out just more physical damage junglers here, those pairings alongside what APA is going for.
For the Renekton band as well, I just want to quickly touch on, because if TL on red side here, if we're expecting to see priority on jungle, is it left to last? Do we get topside counterpick for Summit? Like, what's the play here for TL?
It's
for
fifth
sure
pick for Summit,
top,
100%.
Yeah.
Like,
okay.
When they're playing red side, it feels like it's almost always that, because this is a guy who's been such a good laner throughout his entire career across multiple leagues. You know, I think Rel works here. I think that there are other options that you could just go Vi. It's probably one of those two in my mind, but Viego also open is a favorite. So I think it's kind of between those three, and it's really just dealer's choice.
Yeah, I mean, that's just general drafting etiquette usually.
Oh, wow.
But they end up going with the Jax first, showing it with full
really
confidence.
Surprising.
And that really is Summit saying, with the Renekton and Rumble banned, I don't care what you play into the Jax. You know, he's okay with a Cassante matchup. He wants the Jax side of it. He wants to carry. That is confidence from Summit, and we've seen that all year from him. It's just a shout out. It's just a shout out.
Okay, thank you. I'm glad I got you with me, Kobe.
I like this seal though, because I really think the Rakan plus Rel is one of the few combinations for support jungle that guarantees you those engages. So really good steal away here, and it's good for palette.
Sejuani. Okay, so they're going really just for the top side play.
Yeah.
You're doing this melee pairing with the Jax, so it is the Sejuani. It's not some of the options that we were talking about. Of course, Sejuani, another popular one. Kind of less the Pyosik playing towards ultimates for going for wave to
Ball, force Joe widely,
and team fights.
20 angular lane phase.
Well, we've had it is a lift back to the both worlds.
They got Swiss, and whoever loses, tough luck. You should have played better. You had the opportunities here, so we're going to see if they can step it up.
Well, it's going to be the engage from Core JJ. Counter-strike there as well. Bit of damage to be done, but they need Pyosik to be closer than he is. A bit of grasp. Okay, a win for TL, but there is time for Kiaya to go back and reset.
Yeah, he's going to go all the way back to the turret here, make sure there's nobody sneaking around. They don't actually leave behind any deep ward from the side of Team Liquid, and Gam sneak in, and they put the extra one over onto blue buff. Looks like Summit will be the human ward.
Yep, he's waiting over there, so at least I think wants to see if they're going to be starting on this, and may do a really late ward. So we'll have to see if he does end up actually going for that ward, right as the start is happening, just so it lasts a little bit longer. And with his positioning, I'm assuming he's going to ward the blue on spawn.
So TL start on their own. Again, vision gathered here by Gam. On the blue side, they're the ones that chose this. I know we talked about statistic before, stronger teams there, but has been successful so far in the tournament.
Absolutely.
Summit in the end, gentlemen, further to your point, ward down quite late to see that crossing all the way over to the top side.
Yeah, exactly. So while TL doesn't have eyes on the jungler, you kind of know what he's doing, right? You have a ward on Raptors, you have a ward on blue, so he's doing red, he's gone to Krugs. That is very easy to kind of figure out unless he's doing something really weird. But with the lane obviously leashing bot, it should be pretty clear where he is going to be. And we'll have to see how TL does want to start this out, because it is a bot to top clear here for Pyosik. Obviously, you want to end on the side of your melee solo laner with that Jax.
Yeah, as we were talking about, the whole reason for the draft up there. And let's see that wave built up here by Summit. Pyosik, how badly he's going to look like he's going to go towards mid instead. But we also had Kati move up and ward Raptors. So seeing that Raptors are still there, going to expect probably Sejuani on bottom side coming through here. Kati needs to play top towards his ward.
Hang on, early gang from Pyosik to get the flash out. It depends. I mean, there'll be a permafrost shortly, but one more auto to get it. Kati just walks it out and graciously holds his summoners.
But I do like this kind of a play. Don't overcommit to it. Don't spend your summoners. Get a little bit of chunk. He didn't spend a lot of time doing it. He's just crossing from bot over towards top, so he'll keep up the farm. We'll be slightly behind for a moment behind Levi, but it's not a big deal. And I do think it's those little pressure moves that can help to give a bit of room for APA to make something happen in mid.
So here in this early game, while we have some time, I want to ask you guys a little bit more about Gam. I know you talked about TL and the top side focus here in the early game. With the Sejuani, we kind of didn't expect for Pyosik, but for Gam, we're seeing Wukong with Syndra. We're seeing big ult buttons here. So I want you guys to walk me through as to what Gam's focus should be here in this early game.
I personally expect them to go heavily towards Kati to play around this Syndra. We saw that from them in their first win, and I think with Kiaya, who to me is their big star, off a carry, I think it is going to be more about playing towards mid, trying to enable this Syndra, trying to get Pallet out of lane. If you get pushed there, move him up, and use that mid lane pressure to then move into Heralds, move into Dragons, and that's kind of what I'm expecting.
And kind of like I referred to earlier, it's going to be a later start for Gam because they've got the Wukong who wants to get to his level 6, whereas Sejuani can make earlier moves. You can just use Permafrost and use these stuns to try and get the Jax going early. It is a pushing wave here towards Summit. So Summit's job now is a little bit of acting.
Oh, and the full commit there as well. We didn't see it, but out of vision, Summit has to flash away. Levi in the right place, right time. Pyosik can't get out and get it likewise.
Advantage for Gam there, but they're going to go back in.
They are. Counter-strikes there. Kiaya flashes away. That's a double stun, but it is a fake clone, ladies and gentlemen, as Pyosik runs back in. This is chaotic. What is happening? Stuns up. Gam like, we'll take it. They get first blood. Pyosik runs in, trades it off, but now Kiaya.
He's got a flash. He's got a flash.
Oh, he ain't cute in any way. You're right, but the flip back. Cassante with a double.
Double kill for Kiaya. They have had so many games start like that, and Levi on his signature Wukong comes up huge. Even with the blue buff to red buff disadvantage there. Really, really good clone from him.
And Nazael, you kept calling it. Where was the flash?
I mean, I think he was trying to wait for the Q3 and then reactively flash it. I just don't think he realized that the W was going to come back up to be able to buffer it. So the W stun came through, guarantees the Q3 lands, and then you're just going to be dead. So that is definitely an unfortunate one, but that was the closest of margins. Summit just took too much damage in that earlier trade because the jump came first from Levi, so it's just really well played by Gam. You're in this disadvantageous 2v2, but because they got the gun, because they got that better poke down, it worked out.
And because Levi just did a regular full clear up to the top side on the Wukong, he can just go for clear number 2 here. Wukong going to be accelerated towards that level 6. Pyosik,
can he really do anything? Depends on APA who comes in. No Spirit Rush available, excuse me. So Cuddy just walks it out.
Yeah, I mean, Pyosik, instead of doing the full clear himself, he made 2 visits towards mid lane, didn't get a flash either time. So definitely going to be a Levi lead.
And it's concerning because we talked about this red side draft being built around Summit, that 2v2 goes bad, and now you are behind. Yes, eventually Jax does outscale, but when he gets 2 early kills and a double buff, you are set so far back. And again, to me, Summit's trying to do a little bit of acting, but this Q3 pushed him really low, and it's a beautiful setup because the Q3 into the W, scoops him into Levi, and gets us down this early chunk. And then it's really kind of just a bit of disrespect from Kiaya, who is that allows Pyosik to go back in. They have this flash away from Kiaya. Summit's surviving for a long time. They have the permafrost stack. They look to go for the re-engage, but they just can't quite finish off Levi.
Oh, Levi with the Q flash away. Pyosik tries to follow and does get the 1 kill, but as you know.
So rough. I mean, early game for Gam. It's a 1k gold lead off the back of that as well. Just about. Bounty in the top side. We already talked about the importance of the matchup for top 4 TL. And Levi wasn't even level 6. He is about to get there now. Cutty level 6 now as well. This is when we said Gam will start coming online too.
Yeah, I mean, this is such a battle top lane too. Summit had the best top laner stats for lane phase, in the league, in the LCS. Same thing for Kiaya in the VCS.
You know what else Summit had was the lead for isolated deaths, right? You know, that was one of his struggles, is that he was often getting picked off, but it's going to be potentially another jump. Pyosik is spotted, but...
Round 2, brawl in the top lane. Gam might say go.
Yeah, they know.
Waiting for the flip back. Doesn't land. Okay. Summit okay.
Core's here too.
Makes it difficult. Levi going to be spotted out. There's the counter-strike, the Arctic Assault, but Levi is out of there in the nick of time.
Oh, they're actually pulling mid over as well. Ari's even roaming. How bad did TL want this?
They need to just reset the wave at this point, right? I don't think it's about the fight anymore. Core is still around,
Unless they find a pick. Everyone's in. Pallet made the roam up too. Summit hit back, all out there. Turret Johnny's about to die. While Levi deals with the rest. He's now level 6. So a Cyclone's there as Summit dies again. It is about Kiaya in the top side.
Oh, that's 3 for the Kazante. That is a brutal.
No way does Core JJ die. He's got Pyosik nearby. Let's just dance it out, he might say. As
Jan is coming up. Kaisa's walking up.
The new target, if he gets up in time. I mean, no water to spot him out.
Level 6?
Level 6 you mentioned. But will it be the trigger pull? Because it's about Herald now. We just live in topside.
Pyosik is trying to soak XP for 6, I think, here. We'll see if he can get it. He just got 6. That is really big, so that's why he was sitting mid.
Yeah, even with top lane dying, TL are going to make a power push for this Herald. Zaya's going to stay bottom, so we'll keep an eye on Slater and see how many turret plates Slater can get. Now we have Kaisa heading back down to try and deny those turret plates and actually collect the minion wave since it's a large one.
TL getting paid the respect for the time being, but not starting the Herald. Again, balancing between as Slater and Yon stay towards the bottom side. Just a quick note that Pyosik has gone back to farming too. I'm glad we get to have a small breather from that one, gents, because top has just been, I feel like, game-defining, right? That's fair to say with what's been happening in the top side.
Absolutely, and it's just such a massive lead now for Kiaya. He's going to get to that Mythic way faster than Summit. You can see TL wanted to protect Summit, wanted to get the wave in, weren't able to do it, and it ended up being Summit dying again and the kill going to Kiaya, which is just the worst possible situation for them. But now they're setting up on bot side for a potential dive towards Slater or a dragon move here, and we'll see if TL can actually find something.
On the pallet, Arctic Assault doesn't connect. He's going to run, crash down. You're right, but the ulti follows up. TL are going to move all parts in to kill the support. Finally get some resources on their side, and they want to give it to APA, but Pyosik takes it on the Sejuani, but at least it's a kill.
You're not on Kindred this game, bud. You're supposed to give those over.
Oh, All right, well, let's see how much damage this Sejuani can do, because it also results in a Dragon bottom side for Team Liquid. So while they are significantly behind in gold, still over 1,000.
I don't know if it does.
Oh my goodness, they can't finish.
I really think it should go like day after day. I gotta go.
Levi moving in with ult and lovely counter. I just noticed that, gentlemen. We have a 10-second counter on the ulti. That just shows us that Levi's back up and ready to charge.
That is almost that is 1,000 gold difference just in the top lane though.
Huge.
So pretty much the whole gold difference up there for GAM. They are able to scare him away. Team Liquid, Pioshik at least gets the Scuttle Crab vision, but the Scuttle Crab vision is just going to watch as they take the objective afterwards. Yeah, we can see you. Great.
Yeah. Yeah,
GAM's
watch,
victory
enjoy.
in the early game. I mean, 10 minutes in, still that gold lead present. We've always talked about it. I feel like I'm flogging a dead horse at this point, but it's known for VCS.
Huh?
But GAM especially is... All right, well, we're mid-tier right there. Just to show us where GAM's trajectory really are with the way this game's going. Now, another tangent as well. I mean, Kati with a decent-sized CS lead, about 10 in the mid lane. I guess something we can focus on afterwards, isn't it? Because we get to look at top side again.
Yeah, exactly. TL at this point were no longer looking for the fight. They were just looking to reset the wave, but they didn't anticipate the roam here from Pallet. Core was moving down back towards mid, heading down towards bot side. He thought that's where Pallet was, but Pallet shows up and they just preempt the play. They go for the hard engage. So again, GAM outplaying on that top side. They have been the better ones up in that top lane, and it is that massive lead for Kiaya. He's basing now. He has Iceborne for sure. And he does have his TP available, so there's the Mythic, there's him TPing back in, and he TP's on the wave because he knows he's way stronger than Jax, so Jax now, you can see on the minimap, has to back off. He can't crash the wave. Yep. Summit just has to give full control until he at least has his Mythic, but he's far away.
What do you do at this point? Kobe, start walking me through how TL can mitigate some of this early game top disadvantage. How do you get yourself back in the game?
You gotta pray. Pioshik said God has abandoned us, so
oh, no.
Pioshik's gonna have to pull it up then, and maybe that's why he's taking the kills on Sejuani. Maybe at least a Bomby Cinder, some little bit of damage there might actually help, but honestly, no. The serious look back into it is that you have to slam some big plays with an Ahri pick. Okay. Top lane is already over 1,000 gold down. That is a really rough one to try and fight, since that 1,000 gold is not just theoretical. That's not just numbers. That's a real Iceborne Gauntlet completed. So you have to make a big play on Ahri. You have to make some picks here.
Like that, I mean, would have been nice. Charm disconnected. Cuddy with some great sidestepping through as flash from someone in the top side. Kiaya again. He doesn't need any help anymore. He's doing it himself.
And that's the problem with Pallet.
Down he goes. Pallet not finding anything, but a couple of summoners burnt over the wall. APA, Pioshik, everyone is out. Right around this dragon area.
I mean, that's huge because he didn't have to spend his flash. His flash was his top side, so he gets 2 summoners just for the ulti, and they're going to drop Herald. They have very little wave clear here to deal with this. DL just getting ran around the map now. GAM doing such a good job, but Kati does have to be careful. Ult over the wall!
Step too far forward. He's already burned as Flash has to go through in the end.
And that's the missing flash and ulti from APA. He couldn't get in range fast enough to follow up with the charm, unfortunately. Sure. Otherwise, that would have been a kill on Kati, but at the very least, they do get a summoner back. But it is, closing in on that 2,000 gold lead here now for GAM.
They're so comfortable right now. I mean, Kati on his Syndra, Levi on his Wukong. Massive early game gold lead. Over 2,000 now, but Core JJ is looking to...
And he's got flash, he's got flash. Quickness is there, you're right, but does he care? With the quickness down, the ignite! Out he goes, smooth criminal, I didn't realize. We had Michael Jackson on Summoner's Rift.
Levi tried to block it there. He W's forward to take the charm, so he's doing everything he can to try and block for Kati, but Core JJ has the ignite down, finishes it.
Yep, nicely played. They get the kill. He's flashless. Did look risky there. I was pretty nervous to see him go for that. But Levi did not have his ultimate, so that's good tracking, because if he had his ultimate in that situation, I think he can get turned around with that additional CC. But they do get a kill. Unfortunately, it does go over to Core, so it's not really that big a deal. And you can see Summit, when you get behind Cassante, there's just no outplaying Cassante. Like, he just kind of walks at you and hits you. That's the kind of tank experience when you're playing a carry from behind. So Summit just has to kind of mitigate loss, make sure he's keeping up his farm. Hopefully, he can get a good fight later or find some towers later or something to kind of claw back towards parity.
And it's even more frustrating than the normal take experience, because he rushes Iceborne, so if he hits you once, then he's going to keep hitting you forever. Yep. So you can't go out into lane, or he actually can have kill pressure on you, unlike a lot of other tanks, and Kiaya knows it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, he's just harassing him on every minion, hitting those Qs nonstop. We can see in the MasterCard lane economy snapshot. The lead really is just top lane. This is a very close game besides that, so TL can still be confident in the 4v4s if they think they can execute. But when Kiaya gets involved, this guy is going to be a nightmare because he's at that point where he can be soloing out your backliners. He can be tanking up all of the damage. He can kind of be doing it all.
I feel like, I mean, again, Kiaya, star player. It's so funny. Was setting up. This game was going to be about Cardi. This game was going to be about Levi, and their combination is the all-out in topside again, but under the turret, he's playing so dangerously. Summit is a couple of Natofo strikes away, but Kiaya misses, and now we're playing on the edge. Tiptoe, and Natofo, out he goes. Summit running through his head what he can do, and he'll survive, at least for now.
Really well played there by Summit to be able to survive, pick up most of the farm as well. And now Kiaya likely has to base because with Counter-Strike back up, you could go in for the Leap Strike and the kill. As TL are pushing through mid, that's a big deal because he gets to 11 and he'll have his Mythic on this base. So Summit not dying there is huge.
Yep, that was one of the kill timing windows for Kiaya. Can't complete it, but the rest of the team still going to come through the river, try and get vision control before this dragon arrives on the rift. And after pushing mid, they can slip right back towards Hex.
With that push through, Hex Flash is threatening from Pallet. They're going to find the turret on top of that as well. But TL coming in,
behind them.
Now ready to make his impact in the game. When
Double
their backs
TP.
are against the wall, gentlemen. It's all down to this moment. Teleport in the middle. There we go. Core JJ. Quickness on everyone. The Magnet Storm, though, could re-engage. And Slater's untouched, but Summit is making huge impact. They just need to finish the kills, but they can't. They don't have enough damage. And the circles work out for Gam.
It's 3 for 1 and the Dragon. TL are going to try to retreat up towards the top side and see if they can make something happen over at the Herald. The initial engage and pick was great on Kati, but Levi, Slater were not taken down. They were turning around so much damage. And again, Jan really wasn't that involved. He was kind of just hitting frontline, never found an angle to get into the backline and try to assassinate someone. Watch the charm over the wall from APA. The fight starts out good, it's just not enough.
Yeah, Core JJ gets the timing here. He locks him up, knocks him up, so he's standing still. They follow through with the charm, and that's one assassinated. But so much damage from Levi, from Slater there. And Kiaya just gets to go wild as well.
And I think APA just got too far ahead of themselves. I think he needed to ult a different angle up into the river, but not over the wall into the meat grinder there, because he just got shredded when he went in from all that CC. TL at least steal away this Herald to try to scrape something back, but this is starting to feel very much like Game 1. It's now a 3,000 gold lead. It is a 2-0 Dragon lead. And TL, that may have been, one of their kind of final moments where they can have a fight on even parity, or at least close to.
It's sad to give them credit, right? Because, I mean, for TL, you look at that fight maybe from an even goal perspective, with everything hitting, maybe it looks more successful. It could actually go towards them. But for Gam, the early game is reigning supreme once again, as you already mentioned. With someone going home here today, I mean, Gam fighting chance right here. So big for the organization that in groups and previously at Worlds has always kind of failed to hit the mark.
Yeah, and they're going to be able to potentially take this best of 3, against TL. That would be huge. It would be the first, best of win against NA from them. Would be really, really big.
Yeah.
And Pioshik trying to threaten, see if he could force out a flash just with that Arctic Assault forward. But this is a team that went through some roster changes. Their bot lane is different than the one they had at MSI. Some of these changes came out pretty late. And Gam has really been building towards this. They feel confident. They wanted to show what they can get done on the world stage. And thus far, they are the better team than TL.
Yeah, changing the bottom lane pretty big for them. Slater coming in, then Pallet much later towards playoffs. And the top side core has been so valuable for them. Levi currently the 26-4 record on Wukong, and he's looking pretty close at that 27-4.
It's looking really, really good. And I mean, it's just fun to watch Levi. He came over to NA for a while, was playing 100 Thieves Academy, and I kind of miss seeing him internationally because he's what I really associate this VCS squad with. As we're going to see the charm miss there from APA, but Levi just has so much history international, and he's been one of those really exciting players that you show up from these regions that maybe you're not expecting to win the tournament, but he can always get cool things done, really showcasing his skill, and going to be able to force out the ulti, and they're going to claim the top line tier 1 off of that. Yes, there's going to be a trade back potentially here in mid as they drop a Herald there, but we'll see what else they can get.
Oh, that's a good question, because at least if the Herald can get a second charge, maybe add more pressure here for TL through mid. But the turret does equalize the gold a partial amount, almost the 2,000 gap that's been brought down to. As Levi continue to be a nuisance here for TL in Piosik's jungle. He'll just back out in the end as well. So, gents, we've got 2 minutes before Dragon, 45 seconds before the Baron spawns up in this game. I think we need to start looking at what this mid-game's going to look like more and more, what side lane's going to look like more and more, because we're expecting coming into this that TL were going to play through this Jax. He would be unbeatable in sides. But again, 0-3 still trying to grasp at his second item.
Yeah, I mean, we just had our second item completed here for Kiaya with the Abyssal coming in.
Oh, wow.
Tons of magic resist for him, and he's going to be able to shred people for Kati. But it should look like Gam pushing up mid as well as bottom, getting there first, and being able to secure themselves number 3. A minute and a half left on this Mountain Dragon. Usually a minute before, you'll go back and get some control wards, replenish them, move into the river so that you've got the vision. And when you have vision superiority and you're the ones with Wukong and the long-range Sons of Syndra, then it makes it so scary for Team Liquid to even think about coming in there. And I honestly don't think Team Liquid should go for a bottom side play there if they give up the vision, and just give up number 3 and look for a better opportunity.
Well, I mean, that's the biggest inflection point, right? Because if you give up number 3, then one mistake, one pick, one steal means they get soul, that permanent power.
Yep.
So you have to make the judgment call. Can we realistically win this fight? Because if you go to that third dragon and you lose the fight, you're going to lose the dragon, you're likely going to lose the Baron, and that's it. Your Worlds is probably over, barring some crazy turn of events. So TL have really got to be confident. You know, generally at this kind of goal points, you know, I look at item completions, right? And I think they have a better chance of having 2 before game have 3 if they fight at soul point, you know, on that 4th dragon instead of the 3rd. But it's a tough call to make because, again, one mistake means soul if you give up 3 for free.
Your whole year done and dusted, just in that single moment, in this single game. Again, for such talented players.
4JJ is deep here, but it is a Cassante, so...
he's going to take about a year to die.
You say hello, and then you say goodbye.
That's right. And look, he can turn into a champion like Aurelia at any second, too.
And this is clearly the option. They're just going towards topside. They want to try to push down something, but they're not strong enough to threaten Baron. They can't actually bully out Kiaya, so they're just getting nothing here.
They've got a Blast Cone flank from Levi, too.
I mean, he's going all in.
Jon
has
trouble.
his summoners. Who is it, though? Cyclone's out. Teleport the match, but running into the Cyclone, not always the best option. Yon ulti's out. Maybe a chance for TL to turn around, but Palace engage. It's huge! Gam will never say die as Kiaya ultis again. Summit getting the League of Legends Summoners Rift experience. Let's Gam have the pick, and now Baron's on the table.
This is massive for Gam. That could be the final nail in the coffin here. They're going to be starting up this Baron. There is a ward on it, so TL are aware of it, but they've got no summoners. They've got no mid laner. They've got no anything here, but they're going to try to contest it because this is their life on the line right now.
Yossi going to have to try. Come on, you're a world champion. Show us what you got, but Baron down even with the missed smite. It doesn't matter. Scatter the weak was enough, and Gam can taste their journey continuing here at Worlds 2023.
All right, maybe Team Liquid rush for a consolation prize Mountain Dragon here for themselves, but even with that, the Baron-empowered recall, Gam are getting out there pretty quick. It's Kai'Sa damage, though.
They got it, but it's just not enough, right? They're falling so far behind, and now you have the Baron buff to deal with, and this is just so tough for TL. And APA in these last couple fights, you know, you're on this Ari, you have high mobility, but he's just getting knocked up by the Cyclone, pulled in by Palette's ultimate. He's never really getting much done in these fights, and Yon is getting pressured out. You know, he hasn't been able to find a good angle. We're never seeing what you want from this comp, which is the Plasma on the backline, dive in, assassinate those backliners, put pressure on Kati and Slater. It's always been TL on the back foot because Gam just started engaging and playing better.
Yeah, I mean, that was literally Levi's solo Blast Cone in there. Being surprised, there's extra people, don't care, has ultimate, big chunk out on the carries, and the rest of Gam following up, they just absolutely murder them. Now, power play on bottom side, 4-1 split push with the Baron.
This Baron power play by Red Bull's already up by 2.3k. The range of this cannon minion, top side looking to be traded by APA, but the problem is, if Gam continue this aggression, APA with no teleport. So he's going to have to walk down, he's going to have to make a play. Let's see what Gam can do in the trade as Inner is already dropping down.
With Cascade Platinum Plus, I load this and get this. Dare to dish differently.
Honestly, they keep the split push up. Team Liquid trying to get something back for themselves.
Yeah, might
APA
engage
does
here.
get it there, but they're going to have to give up a lot. They can't fight this.
It's just, you know, if you don't think you can defend anyway, then you want to get as much gold as you can off the map. But even if you get this second tower, you're giving up a lot on the other side of the map. They have no wave clear. It's not the Jack split pushing, it's the Ari, who's really some of their only wave clear, and he might just kill himself.
Spirit Rush is there. Unleash power, not enough orbs, so they sit on the ground in a puddle and just walk away. APA with the ult out as well. And it's still looking great. I mean, the Baron power play is at 3k. It's a decent Baron power play. And we'll look again, guys, because this might be the game-defining, the series-defining play for TL.
Again, this is Levi solo by himself. Blast comes into the back. and he absolutely murders Yon.
Yep.
He forces Yon's ultimate with his own ultimate. He survives with his own clone, and by that time, he's bought enough time for Gam, the rest of the team, to get here. The team that's so far ahead that they push out the rest of TL.
I mean, they get that kill onto APA. It was great positioning from Slater. He was auto-attacking him over the wall while his team is CCing them up. You know, they did get that stopwatch off Kati in the fight, but it doesn't matter. He's got the Zonias completed. The item completions are so much better for Gam, and they have no real answer for Kiaya. No one can actually punch through this guy. They have no threat in side lane. Summit's trying to keep him in that side lane to just make it a 4v4, which is more beneficial for your team, but you're down 6,000 gold.
It's so rough, and I mean, we're still with the rest of the Baron here. It's just going to expire now, but another inner turret getting pressured should be falling down. Kiaya, who can teleport in at any moment as well. Gold given over, 7,000 the lead. It is a slow burn right now for North American fans as they sit here watching TL crumble.
And Gam have the luxury of time here. They can continue to split push. Kiai's got teleport, Kati's got teleport, and there's 2 minutes left on the next dragon here, so they don't have to let anything be traded back into the hands of Team Liquid, as long as they are slow and controlled.
So, are you telling me if they're not, that's how TL come back? Because I have to ask you.
TL have to make one of these risky plays. They have to just throw multiple people at a side lane.
Yeah.
If you just try and get the minimum here and you just defend all lanes, you're not going to come back in the game. So what you have to do in this case is sacrifice one lane. Okay, fine. Gam, you get mid push or whatever. Throw multiple people from Team Liquid's side to try and attack that split pusher, trailing with extra resources because you're not going to have even fight victories.
One of the biggest problems, though, is that the only person who's exposing himself in the side lane at all is Kiaya. And you're never going to kill him unless you have 3 people, maybe. And then if you overload that side of the map that heavily, Gam is probably taking your base on the other side. You know, Kati sometimes pushes out waves, but he never extends past the river if he doesn't have people behind him, it feels like. So they're just not really getting these opportunities. It's like, great, you see Kiaya again. Who cares? You can't hurt him.
I mean, APA even going to take him on. Look at this damage. It's like hitting a tree with your bare hands. Knuckle backers, one more to get out, but APA getting chased down. Solo killed. Core JJ has to say, what happened to my mid laner? He's flipped back, he quicknesses out, but Kiaya is putting on a clinic. It is the day of Gam here as the support is just trying to survive.
I mean, Kiaya just roasted him, and surprise!
See you later, Gam with another one. It is getting worse as TL, this might be their pick though, onto Levi. They all jump in, but Palace ulti's even better. Double spin to win a scatter the week. TL might be getting close to getting kills, but they're not getting it. Gam are looking to stay alive here at Worlds. The VCS is representing.
I think it just about does it. They are crushing Liquid in this final game. Every mistake TL is making is being punished, and Pioshik likely to be chased down here as well.
He is a legend. He is a world